This is Bill Arajendra, lecturer in English, Government Degree College, Mantani, District, Peddapalli. Today, we would like to discuss about the rules of intonation. As we are discussing in our previous class, intonation has its own importance regarding to the pronunciation and the speaking of the language. As I discussed that pronunciation and stress, then intonation, these are the three things to learn and they had to give utmost priority. Why? Because we have to learn the language in a proper way, so that pronunciation has its most important. We have to follow British pronunciation, not American pronunciation. So we are the receiver of the pronunciation, receiver of the languages. That is called RP, received pronunciation. And so many people, they are going to implement their own mother tongue interference in the language. So that's a different case. But if you want to learn, if you want to speak the language in a better way, you have to follow certain rules and regulations about the pronunciation, keeping the mind, keeping the phonetics in your mind, then have to go through with the pronunciation, proper pronunciation of the language. Then pronunciation means almost all I said that phonetics means almost all with the help of 26 letters we are able to produce 44 sound symbols in English language. And with the 44 sound symbols, and already told you that English is an unphonetic language. Why it is unphonetic language means one sound cannot give one sound, one letter cannot give one sound, and different letter may give one sound. As I told you that different letter means maybe some sounds are totally different. That means different letters can give one sound, and one letter can give different sounds. So that's what we have to learn about the phonetics, phonetic transcription. As we know that the sound symbols are 44. 20 vowel sounds are there, and 24 consonant sounds are there. And in the 20 vowel sounds, we can see monophthongs, what we can see pure vowels. There are 12, and 8 diphthongs are there. And most of the time, Indian speakers, they are not able to follow diphthongs properly. They are not able to produce the pronunciation properly about the diphthongs. So another important thing is about the stress. In our next video lesson, we would like to go through with the rules of stress. Stress is, we can see the word stress and sentence stress. Word stress means it may consist of 3 or more. Stress means in a word we can see there are so many syllables. So maybe there are 2 disyllabic words, there are monosyllabic words, there are, we can say, monosyllabic word, disyllabic word, trisyllabic word, and polysyllabic word. If a word can have more than 3 syllables, that may be called as polysyllabic word. So here, the word stress may consist of the primary stress and the secondary stress, and then stress shift. Like the word about can have the stress on ba sound. Why? Because is a weak prefix. Weak prefixes doesn't have the accent according to the rules and regulations of stress. Then when you go through with the beauty, the word beauty, it's a noun. It may be pronounced, it can have 2 syllables, so it's a disyllabic word. So it is pronounced at the beginning of the sound syllable. It was stressed. Stress means vibration of vocal cords. We are going to forcibly pronounce a syllable in a word. That is called stress. So when we go through with the secondary, we have seen the secondary syllable, and the third syllable means examination. Word ending with ION have the primary accent on second syllable from the last. Second syllable from the last means examination, preparation, continuation, intonation. Like that, we can go through with the secondary syllable from the from the last in the particular words with ion, and which gives the sound like shen. Then the third, stress shift. Stress shift means it is a some words may have they can act noun as well as verb. For the purpose of a noun, we are going to put the stress mark on the beginning of the syllable, like conduct. Conduct means it's a nature of a student, nature of a man that can be given a certificate in the school or colleges by the conduct certificate. So conduct is forcibly pronounced here on ka. It is a noun. If it is a verb, the stress has going to shift to the duct, conduct. So we can go through with the conduct. Conduct is ka, and the duct, the stress is on duct. Why? Because it is a verb. So this is the way, like I can give you some example, one example about this conduct. Uh, Tomorrow, we would like to conduct an examination on the rules of intonation. So this is what conduct. So da is forcibly pronounced with the vibration of vocal cords. This is what the stress shift. So then sentence stress is totally different. It is sentence stress means we have to focus on only the first syllable of a word in a sentence, which has to be convey the message of particular person. So this is what about the stress. And for the intonation, we can see that what we call the intonation means falling rising tones of a sentence. Falling rising tones of a sentence, and each sentence may have its own unique intonation, like a falling tone, whether it may be in rising tone, or we can go through with the fall rising or rising falling. So there are four kinds of the sentences in the intonation. May intonation means falling rising tone of a sentence, which may called as the pronunciation, as well as it all involves the stress. After that, it involves the intonation, whether we are going to pronounce it in a falling tone or rising tone according to the speaker's voice. We can understand the proper pitch of the sentence. Go through with what is intonation. Intonation about how we say things, rather what we say, the way voice rises and falls when speaking. In other words, music of the language. Music of the language means it can have high pitch or low pitch, or you can go through with the middle of the pitch. So high pitch means we have to rise our voice in the sentence. Low pitch means we have to fall of the voice when we are speaking. So intonation about how we say things, how we say things. And so many people, they think that all the commands may have falling tone. So sorry, rising tone. So suppose we can say that close the door. So it's not in the form of rising tone. It should be in the form of falling tone. Close the door. That's what the command is. So we'll learn all these things in our next slide, but try to understand what is intonation. Intonation is about how we say things, rather, and what we say, the way of the voice, the way of the voice of the speaker when it rises or when it falls. So as you know that speaking the language, while we are speaking in front of so many people, so many audience, so we have to go through with the importance of the when we go through with the importance of the language. If the speaker is not able to speak in his voice like a falling rising tone, students as well as the audience, they may not have concentration on your voice. And if you can speak like the people in a a middle pitch, So many people, they are not going to concentrate on your particular voice, and they are not concentrating on your speech. So this is what we have to learn from this. And the important thing is that we can have falling tone. Falling tone means, one is falling tone, and falling tone means a sentence must end. Starting of the sentence should be in rising, or whatever maybe it has containing the stress, and then after ending of the sentence, it has to go through with the falling tone, and the arrow mark of the falling tone should be down to the sentence. The next we can see the rising tone. Rising tone means the sentence, at the end of the sentence, the voice has to rise. The voice has to rise. So it should be shown the arrow mark in a rising way. That means it is in up. It is in up arrow mark. Then go through with the falling rising tone. That means sentence begins with the falling tone and ends with the rising tone. That's what falling rising tone of a sentence. Then go through with the rising falling tone. The sentence begins with the rising and ends with falling tone. Like we can take an example. Remember what your mother tells you. Remember is a word which a sentence begin with rising tone and end with falling tone. Remember what your mother tells you. Like this, we have four kinds of intonation parts. So go through with the falling tone, and the intonation mark is marked like this, and arrow mark should be downwards, and the pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence. What is falling tone means? The pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence. And if you can speak a sentence, that sentence should be fall at the end of the sentence. And those sentences may call as falling tone sentences. And try to understand another important thing is, we have to divide a sentence into tone groups at first. Why? Because there are so many lengthy sentences we can observe in our language. There are so many lengthy sentences, means almost all the sentences which may have one or more syllables, and the sentences which may consist more words, they may have, we have to decide a word in the sentence into tone groups. How can we divide a word into tone groups? Means when when the cat is away, the mice play. When the cat is away, the mice play. So in the sentence, what we have to do, the sentence may have two tone groups. When the cat is away is a tone group, the mice play is another tone group. That means we have to divide a sentence into tone groups, and after that we have to discuss it, whether it may have falling tone or rising tone. And if you had studied well, you wouldn't have failed. If you have studied well is a tone group. You wouldn't have failed is another tone group. I borrowed some money and built a house. I borrowed some money is a tone group, and built a house is another tone group. When I go out, post this letter. When you go out, post this letter. When you go out is a sentence, and post this letter is another sentence. I am looking for pen and paper. I am looking for pen and paper. And paper may be continuously pronounced because of the conjunction. We have to divide before the conjunction and continuously pronounce with the conjunction of the next word. Like I am looking for pen and paper. I went to see the principal, but he wasn't there. I went to see the principal is a tone group, but he wasn't there. Here you can divide a tone group with a conjunction. If you see, you gain. I will hit you. If I see you again, I will hit you. If I see you again is one group, and I will hit you is another group. My father met with an accident, but luckily he wasn't seriously hurt. So in the lengthy sentence, we have to divide this sentence into tone groups like this. My father met with an accident, but luckily he wasn't seriously hurt. Like this, we have to divide a sentence into tone groups. Then go through with the following intonation is the most common intonation pattern in English. It is commonly found in statements like commas or the WH questions, which may ask for personal interest. Which may ask for personal interest. They may call as they may call as WH questions and yes. Um, Commas, WH questions which may ask for personal interest, so maybe confirmatory questions like tags and exclamations may comes under the category of falling tone. They are all comes under the category of falling tone. Then go through with the rules and for falling tone, the statements, all the statements may comes under the category of falling tone. The statements which are complete and indefinite, definites. The statements which are complete and definite, they may ask in falling tone. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I will be back in a minute. I will be back in a minute. She doesn't live here anymore. She doesn't live here anymore. Dad wants to change his car. Dad wants to change his car. Here is the weather forecast. Here is the weather forecast. Cloudy weather is expected at the end of the week. Cloudy weather is expected at the end of the week. We should work together more often. We should work together more often. I am going for a walk in the park. So all the statements which are complete and definite, they comes under the category of falling tone. And WH questions. Like WH questions said in a matter of fact manner. WH questions which may say in a matter of fact manner, we have to say in falling tone. We have to say it in falling tone. And we will see that in the next slide. Commands. All the commands maybe comes under the category of falling tone. Close the door. Close the door. Stop that noise. Stop that noise. Pick up your pencil. Pick up your pencil. Go and post it. Go and post it. Open the window. Open the window. These are all the commands, and we can see write your name here. Show me that what you have written. Leave it on the desk. Take the picture down. Throw that out. Put your books on the table. Take your hands out of your pockets. Take your hands out of your pockets. Like this. Once again, I would like to read you. Write your name here. Write your name here. Show that what you have written. Show me that what you have written. Leave it on the desk. Leave it on the desk. Take the picture down. Take the picture down. Throw that out. Put your books on the table. Take your hands out of your pocket. This is what commands. And WH questions, they may ask for personal interest and beginning with the WHO, like who, what, why, where, and when, which, and how. They are asked in a matter of fact. Where is your aunt? Maybe in falling tone. How is your father? How is your father? When you're going. When you're going. Where is your aunt? How is your father? Where are you going? When were you born? When were you born? Where does she work? Where does she work? What country do you come from? What country do you come from? Where do you work? Which of them do you prefer? Which of them do you prefer? When does the shop open? When does the shop open? How many books have you bought? How many books have you bought? How many books have you bought? Which coat is yours? Which coat is yours? Whose bag is this? Whose bag is this? Like the question tags that may ask for requesting confirmation rather than the question. Requesting confirmation rather than the question. That means question tag, the listener is expected to agree with our opinion. That may ask for falling tone. The listener is expected to agree with our opinion. Those sentences of the question tag may ask in falling tone. Not all tags are really questions. Not all tags are really questions, and some of them merely ask for the confirmation or invite or agreement. In which case we use a falling tone at the end. Like we had examples. He thinks he's so clever, doesn't he? He thinks he's so clever, he doesn't he? And here the opinion of the listener is has to agree with our opinion. So if the listener is going to agree with our opinion, they may be said in falling tone. She's such a nice nonsense, isn't she? She is such a nonsense, isn't she? I failed the test because I did not revise, didn't I? So did I? I failed the test because I didn't revise, did I? If it doesn't seem to bother him much, does it? It doesn't seem to bother him much, does it? Like we have some more examples. You're on the holiday, aren't you? Yes, I am. The expected answer should be like, yes, I am. He is clever, isn't he? He is clever, isn't he? You don't work in Delhi, do you? No, I don't work in Delhi. Like that. And the exclamations, all the exclamations may have in falling tone. Like, how nice of you. That's just what I need. That's just what I need. You don't say. What a beautiful voice. What a beautiful voice. That's a surprise. That's a surprise. What a lovely dress. Excellent. What a lovely dress. Excellent. How wonderful. How wonderful. How clever of you. How clever of you. What a beautiful place. All the question tags which the listener is expected to say in falling tone may comes under the category of falling tone. So go through with the rising tone. The pitch of the voice rises at the end of the sentence, and the rising intonation invites the speakers to continue talking. It is normally used with yes or no questions and question tags that are real questions. That means the listener is not able to agree with the speaker's opinion. They may ask in rising tone. And look at the sentences. The incomplete utterances. The first class of a sentence are a tone group at the end. First class of a tone group at the end. So question tags that shows the uncertainty and require an answer, the real questions like this. We have met already, haven't we? Haven't we? We have met already, haven't we? You like fish, don't you? You like fish, don't you? No, I don't. And you are a new student, aren't you? You are a new student, aren't you? The view is beautiful, isn't it? The view is beautiful. So here the listener is not able to agree with your opinion, and almost all the incomplete utterances. WH questions showing the politeness and friendliness and warmth for personal interests. Warmth for personal interests. Like we have the examples. How is your father? How is your father? What's the matter? What's the matter? When can you come? When can you come? What's the time? What's the time? These are the WH questions which may ask showing for the personal interest as well as showing the friendliness and warmth and personal interest. They are asked in rising tone. And yes or no type of questions that may be called as tags. And for these tags, question tags while asking for information. The question tags that can ask for asking for information, and the questions that can be answered by yes or no. Do you like your new teacher? Do you like your new teacher? Have you finished already? Have you finished already? May I borrow your dictionary? May I borrow your dictionary? Do you have any magazine? Do you have any magazine? Do you still storms? Do you still storms? You're on holiday, aren't you? No. You're on holiday, aren't you? You're not working. You're not working. You're hungry. You're hungry. They are in rising tone. And go through with other examples like the statements and the incomplete statements that the first clause of a sentence of a tone group at the end. Like this. When I went to Agra, it was winter there. When I went to Agra, the first tone group may ask in rising tone, and the second tone group may ask in falling tone. It was winter there. When I went to Agra, it was a winter there. If you don't start early, you will miss the bus. If you don't start early, you will miss the bus. I will not oppose him if you like. I will not oppose him if you like. You are leaving today. I suppose you are leaving today is the falling tone, and I suppose the incomplete sentence, which may ask in rising tone. Are you coming? Questions. Can I see your book? Is he working? Did you meet him? These are the questions which may expected answer should be yes or no. Expected answer should be yes or no. Are you coming? Can I see your book? Is he working? Did you meet him? These are the sentences. And the request, WH question shows the politeness we discussed it. And the request and the statements intended to sound like the request. Pass me the ball, please. Pass me the ball, please. Close the door. Close the door. Sit here. Sit here. Shut the window. Shut the window. You want to come? The statements intended to be questions. They may ask in rising tone. The statements which intended to be questions, they may ask in rising tone, like he won't come. He isn't going. He isn't going. You don't want to see him. You don't want to see him in rising tone. Open the window. Open the window. Has it been snowing? Has it been snowing? Are you married? Are you married? Where she is going? When will you finish? When will you finish? Take your seat. Take your seat. And this is why we sometimes use the combination of rising and falling intonation in the same sentence. That maybe combination is called as rise and or the fall rise of the intonation. And go through with the fall rise of the intonation and the intonation which may see rises and then falls, which may see the rises of the intonation and falls. We use the rise fall intonation of the choice of the list unfinished thoughts and unconditional and conditional sentences, like if clause or main clause, and the words with the subordinatory conjunctions, what we can see. Subordinatory conjunctions like when, where, with these conjunctions, and the if clauses like conditional and unfinished thoughts may be asked in rising tone. And the choice of alternative, are you having soap or a salad? Are you having a soap or a salad? Are you having a soup or a salad? Like this. Is John leaving on Thursday or Friday? Is John leaving on Thursday or Friday? Does he speak German or French? Does he speak German or French? If you name Awa or Eva, if your name, is your name Awa or Eva? So this is what the choice of the alternatives. Some tone groups, the first tone group may have the rising tone and the second tone group may have falling tone. So it is so much importance to, so much important to learn about the tone groups and the dividing, then try to understand the rising or falling tones of the sentence. The intonation falls, that is rising, 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 falling. The intonation falls at least the items to show the list, the list, that the list is finished, that the list is finished. We have got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. We have got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. The sweater comes in blue. The sweater comes in blue, white, pink, and black. I like football, tennis, basketball, and volleyball. I bought a t-shirt, a skirt, and a handbag, and a handbag. So at the end of the sentence, we are making it falling tone, and the sentences which may have so many subjects here, so many nouns here, they are put in a rising tone, and the conjunction, beginning of the conjunction, they may have in falling tone. Like read once again. We have got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. The sweater comes in blue, white, pink, and black. I like football, tennis, basketball, and volleyball. I bought a t-shirt, a skirt, and a handbag, like that. Then go through with the unfinished thoughts of the partial statements. In the responses to the following questions, the rise, the fall, the intonation indicates the reservation. The speakers hesitate to fully express his thoughts. Do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather is nice. Do you like my handbag? Well, the leather is nice, but I don't like it. Well, the leather is nice, but I don't like it. The expected answer may be, but I don't. So, do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather is nice. What was the meal like? The fish was good. What was the meal like? The fish was good. So you both live in Los Angeles. Well, Alex does. So both you. So you both lives in Los Angeles. Well, Alex does. The conditional clauses like if. The tone rises in the first clause and falls in the gradually in the second clause. If he calls, ask him to leave the message. If he calls, ask him to leave a message. Unless he insists, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. Unless he insists, I'm not going to go. If you have any problem, just contact us. If you have any problem, just contact us. And go through with the fall rising intonation. The voice of the fall and rising intonation usually within the words, one word. The main function of the fall rise intonation is to show that the speaker is not certain of the answer and they are giving to a question or is reluctant to reply as an opposite to falling tone is used when there is no hesitation. It is also used to polite and request suggestions. It is also used in polite requests or suggestions. And go through with some examples. The politeness doubt uncertainly. You are not sure that the answer expected might be or not. We may not expect the answer, or uh, we are trying to listen the answer from the listener may not yes or no. Perhaps we could perhaps we could visit the place. Perhaps we could visit the place. Perhaps we could visit the place. Should we cop? Should we copy the list? Should we copy the list? Do you think it's a real? It's allowed. Do you think it's allowed? Like this, we are going to have the intonation pattern in the language, in the English language. From this, I would like to end my session. Thank you.